Hello, I'm Bertrand Bailey. Welcome back to Better Today and Well Balanced Wednesdays. As a special edition, I'm happy to have a lot of friends, just like brothers, many of them, who are hanging out with us today, and their sons. And so I'm going to take a few minutes to introduce them in a second. Well Balanced Wednesday just deals with manhoods and the hustle and bustles. It is just trying to be a man. Manhood is difficult. I don't care what nobody say, it's hard to be a man. It's easy to be a male, but it's hard to be a man. You got several kind of men. You got men who blame everybody else for their mistakes and why life don't go the way they want it to go. You got men who are a plethora of information. They're a wealth of knowledge. They read everything. They go to every seminar, go to every conference, but they ain't gonna never do none of it. Then you got men who are who got it. They had it at one time, but they lost it. They don't know how to get it back. And then you got men who are like many of these men inside this room. That's why I asked them to be here, who go and make it happen. They don't always get it right. I don't always get it right. No man always get it right. But we try. We fall, we fail, we get up, we learn. That's what you call this education. And so I want to introduce these men without any further ado. One of my homeboys from the Tulsa, Oklahoma. He went to one of the lesser schools, Booker T. Washington High School, Kenny Miles, and he has his son, Kenny Myers' brother, and he has his son, Miles, who is going to be a doctor. Hey, Kenny, what do you do?
I'm the National Technical Services Manager for Samsung.
The National. Y'all hear that? Technical Manager for Samsung. Great guy. Just love him like a brother. Then we have next to him this man by the name of Vincent. You all saw him on earlier this year. He's a trainer. But your full-time job was what, Vic?
I'm a mobile engineer for Union Pacific Railroad.
Mobile engineer. So smart. And he has a son that he trained and won how many state championships?
We actually won 2 conference championships.
2 conference, okay.
And back-to-back national runner-ups.
That's what's up, man. Now, what do you do now?
I'm a teacher.
He's a teacher.
Yes.
Educator, what school?
It's W.M. Green Elementary School, Fort Worth.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Love it too.
Good stuff. Yeah. And then we have our friend and brother, Mr. Cedric. Say, what do you do?
I'm a real estate agent broker and on a corporate space in City Hill.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
And he has a son with him, Zachariah, who is in school to be an attorney and he go to University of Houston. That's correct?
Yes,
21 years of age. And Miles is 23. How old are you?
31.
31, that's what's up. All right, and then last but not least, we have Aramis Jenkins. Aramis, what do you do?
I'm a probation officer / musician.
Yeah, and he can sing. And he has a son, Makai, with him, who sure enough can sing. And so, Makai, how old are you? 10 years of age. All right, so that's the crew today. We're going to just talk about some questions about manhood real quick. Before we get to the questions I sent them, let me just ask some of these men real fast, just to get warmed up. The question is, I'm sorry with you, Kenny, even though you're not the oldest. Sid is the oldest, even though he don't look it. My bad. Vincent is the oldest. V, we're going to say that with you, start with you.
Amen. With the oldest.
The oldest. What are you most proud of in your life?
Well, I'm most proud that that my son turned out to be a Christian young man that just really believe in the Christian values that I encourage him, along with my wife, encourage them to seize to. I'm just really encouraged by that. I'm thankful to God for it.
Good stuff. Kenny, what are you most proud of in life?
Other than being the state champion, no. And I'll say this, and this is weird, but I'm most proud of Miles.
Yeah.
I'm most proud of the determination that Miles has, and I take no credit for it. It's just the determination that he has. If Miles says he's going to do something, Miles does it. Yeah. I'll give you a little story. Miles played high school football. Miles weighed 260?
Yeah, something like that.
Miles weighed 260. His senior year, Miles weighed 260. He was a all-district nose tackle. And he decided he's going to turn into this. And now he truly has a six-pack and all that. And Miles puts his mind to something, and Miles decided, first semester in college, Miles bombed. Miles decided, I'm going to turn this around. And I mean, so he's what I'm most proud of.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Aaron, what are you most proud of?
My family.
Your family.
Yeah, my kids.
That's good stuff, man.
I got 4 kids. I got an older son, 17, 16-year-old daughter, and a 10-year-old, and I got my baby girl, 3. But that's my most pride. That's my pride and joy.
And that's why you're here.
Amen.
Say what you're most proud of.
I mean, I'm just proud of my family, my relationships. I mean, I have 4 kids as well, and just to see, you know, not being a perfect dad, since this is a subject, and making some mistakes, to see how they have recovered and how we built a relationship. It's just, I mean, that's the most thing I'm proud of.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Say, I'm start with you. Who was the most influential person in your life?
I would say it would have to be my dad.
Your dad.
My dad, even though he wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I see that I received a lot of good foundation things from him.
Okay.
And so I've learned what I do like and what I didn't like, and what I didn't like, I left to the side, and what I did like, I made sure that I perfected that to the best of my ability.
Same question. Who's the most influential person in your life?
That'll be my dad.
Your dad.
Yeah. The biggest thing he gave me, you know, was Christ.
Yeah.
And being a pastor. That's how we came up. But he wasn't the one that, you know. Well, you know, he ain't, because a lot of, you didn't get that stigma of, or your household was strict. Your dad, a pastor, wasn't like that at all. I had friends that were way more strict than my dad.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to see that strict religious wise.
Yeah.
But he gave me Christ. I was able to pass it down to my kids, and it's interesting to see. Like I didn't really see it growing up, but you know, as we have our own kids. Now you hear yourself repeating the same things your parents told you.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. What about you? Who's the most influential person in your life?
I was not my father. I had 8 uncles, and each one of those guys helped mold me at different stages of my life. So they're the most influential people.
And that's what this is about. It's not always your dad. You know, sometimes it's another man. He said it was uncles that were influential, and so that's what I like about the dynamic of this program. V, what about you?
Well, it was my father, but not because of what he taught me, in which he did teach me a work ethic, to go to work every day, take care of your family. But my father was more influential because of what he didn't do. And I wanted to get it right with my son.
Yeah.
So therefore, I took what my father didn't teach me and tried to figure out how to raise my son better than he raised us.
Yeah.
You know, because when we didn't have, we had to go work and get it. But when my son needed it, because it's like he needed to go to Detroit he was in sports, and who gonna get the money? I had to get the money. I didn't make him go and do car washes and all of that stuff that all the other kids was doing. I took care of it because my father didn't do it for me.
You told a story last week about how you call your kids all the time, and you said one time either your dad called you or you called your dad, and y'all would hang up the phone. And he said, "You know, you can call me every now and then."
Right.
And tell that story, Chris.
Well, actually, what it is that my father would call me and say, "Hey, you can call somebody." I said, "Well, Dad, you know, in the same sentence, if I'm on your mind, that's God telling you to call me." Because just like when I was growing up and you didn't have time to spend that time with me, you weren't thinking about me. You know, so therefore, when you think about me, Dad, call me. And when I think of you, I'm gonna call you too. So I just think that if I'm on your mind, it's God prompting you to call me.
Good stuff. Let me ask you. So, what do you like most about your pops?
I like most that he's honest.
Yeah.
You know, in honesty, you know, you don't always get what you want to hear, but you get clarity because, you know, you getting it straightforward. You know, I can appreciate, you know, you not just pacifying, you know, something that I want to hear, but you gonna tell me straight. You just gonna tell me straight up whether I want to hear it or not. I know it's gonna be the right thing.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What you like most about your pops?
Kind of like what he was saying. My dad has always given me kind of tough love.
Yeah.
And
he give tough love on the domino table too.
Definitely. You know, one thing that I love about my dad is that he's always had my back. You know, if I'm making mistakes, he's always there to push me back on track. But he also allows me to make my own mistakes. He's not micromanaging everything I do. He lets me learn, you know, on my own, you know, how to do things and how to become a man. So that's one thing that I've always loved.
So what do you learn from that? When he give me an example of a mistake that you learned the hard way that he warned you about or something like that, and you.
Well, he already mentioned it, but my freshman semester, my first semester, I bombed my classes. I didn't know what I was doing in college, and I tried to hide my grades from him. Mm-hmm. And he knew that I had messed up, but you know he didn't you know press me and like, you know, you need to get this right, blah blah blah. He was like, he just sat back and he was like, okay, I'm gonna let you fix this and figure out your situation. And you know, I mean, it turned out for the better. You know, I learned how to stand up on my own. So.
Wow, that's good stuff. Yeah. So Kim, before I move on, why did you do him like that?
Because I knew to beat him down wouldn't be any good. I knew it was something wrong with the grades when he didn't give them to me. So I knew if your grade came by January, y'all getting the first of December, something's wrong. So I knew there's something up. I didn't say anything. I let him finally, you know, I ask him every now and then, and then a month goes by and I ask him, you know, well, hey Miles, so what's the deal, partner? And I actually had a conversation to pull it out of him, because I had to pull it out of him. And finally, you know, he admitted, and then we came to, you know, you all learn how to manage your time. Yeah. You know, we're not there to wake you up no more. Mama ain't there to do whatever. Yeah. You gotta learn how to do it, Miles, because we're not there for you.
Yeah.
And then that's, you know, and since forth I've been, and I expected it, but since then, I mean, now before the ink get dry on or the email get there with his grade on it, Dad, I got a such and such. Dad, I got a such and such. I mean, you know,
I figured it out. Exactly. What about you, Malik? What do you like about your dad?
Well, for starters, he's a very hard worker.
Yeah.
He gives me almost everything. He teaches me a lot of things. When I have problems, I can go to him and he can help me figure it out.
Wow.
Good stuff, man.
That's real good stuff.
Yeah. I get a chance to watch at Aramis on Sundays and just with his kids, and it's great things to watch. Zach, what you like about your pops, man?
I say he's always there for me no matter what. You know, he's always got my back.
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm ever down bad or if I need, like, I just want to go to, I know I'll go to him. At the end of the day, he's got my back, and I feel like he's a comedian, honestly. Like, he's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like every time we're out to eat or with all my family members, he's making somebody laugh, and I think I pull that from him.
Yeah.
So I get that, you know, funny gene.
Yeah.
So I think it's everything as well. And I've always learned my lessons from him as well. If I do something kind of I know I shouldn't be doing, in the back of my dad's in the back of my mind, like, come on, man, you shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, all right.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah.
Now, you're a twin.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, is your twin funny like you, or what?
I say I take the funny gene. You know, he's crazy for sure.
Okay.
But I like to kind of pull from the story you said, how he gave you trying to teach you a lesson, stop doing it, and it'll help you out. It was we were in the pool when I was probably 11 or 10. My brother playing around, and he said stop jumping off on the rafts because you'll fall and hit your head.
Yeah.
We weren't listening to him. It wasn't happening. So the last time I jumped on the raft, hit my head, and he was like, "What'd I tell you?" So I was like, learn your lessons the hard way, but you learn them. So.
When he hit his head, what'd you do? Did you coddle him, or did you just say?
I mean, I was freaking out because first of all, you know, when you dive into a pool and you fall back and hit your head on the edge, you know, first thing is you want to be protective mode, and then you want to go in. Well, I told you so, but it was just a matter of, hey, you know, I can't make him feel any worse. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So, tough lesson to learn, but yeah, I think he learned it. Yeah.
Anyways, let me ask you this question: how many kids you got?
4.
How do you spend time with your kids?
I'm learning to try to meet them on their level. Try to do the things that I see that they're interested in. You know, my son is 17. He at that stage that is he don't. I mean, I gotta go find him in the house all the time. He gonna be in his room with the door closed. So either playing video games or watching anime or YouTube or something.
Is that how you were raised? Were you always in the house, door closed, all that kind of stuff?
No.
Oh, y'all was outside.
No. We was outside.
Let me ask you a question. Outside?
Outside.
Outside?
Outside.
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 I was outside. See, you know,
Is he telling the truth? Outside?
Outside. He's outside.
I know he was outside.
It was like mix and match.
All right. So okay, got you. All right. So you find time to spend with your kid. So what about you? How did you, since he's grown now, but when he was younger, how did you spend time with your son?
I spend time with Desmond as often as possible because he was always at some practice, either running track, playing football, and in the off season we would do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either we'd be out racing or wrestling, or we'd be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know.
But you made time.
Oh yeah.
Did you like? I was reading a survey the other day about men who were. Who said that, you know, everything they said that they work so much, and so when they get home, they kind of plop on the couch, you know, turn on the ball game and whatever. And the statement they made was everything they do after, because they do so much, everything they do after they get home feels like work. And so sometimes spending time with the kids felt like work.
Oh, never.
Never felt like that.
Never. I don't think if I was watching football or TV, he would be watching football too, because we were both football enthusiasts. So either we'd be watching football or playing football or working out or doing something physical. You know, if it's wrestling or just something. You know, me trying to.
I gotta ask him a question. Have you ever beat your dad on running?
All the time.
Oh, okay. Now he said you was cold-blooded, and your dad cold too. Now, how old were you when you first beat him?
I had to be maybe 13.
Oh, damn.
Well, you come tell me.
Well, actually, it was like 17, 16.
No,
Okay.
no. I was bad at that age. I was real bad.
What did you run 100?
In 100?
Yeah.
A 10-9. Yeah.
10-9?
Yeah.
Okay.
He never ran no 100 meters though. He already ran about 20.
Now, Kitty, you got several, four kids. How did you spend time with your kids?
Yeah, no, so unfortunately, when my older kids, Miles' baby, but the older kids, I didn't spend as much time with them. At that point in time, I was out hustling and grinding and running in the streets, you know, so I didn't put focus on raising them. I mean, I've raised them in their life, you know, whatever, but I didn't spend as much time with them as I did Miles. So I've even noticed, and I can know when Miles was a baby, I would notice it was kind of a jealousy thing with them.
Yeah.
You know, and over the years they've mended that. I won't say mended that, but I guess accepted it or whatever it may be. But the thing is, I didn't spend nearly as much time as I did with Miles.
How do you kind of feel about that?
Now I reflect back on it, I'm like, man, I was wrong for doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything, as I say, turned out okay. But I know I could have done a better job.
Because you got your kids, all your kids doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And which is fortunate because everybody don't turn out that way. So would you base it on immaturity at that time or your stage of your life?
When even thinking about what the effect that I had in their lives or to guide them in life. And then sometimes I think I got him too much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I wasn't thinking about that. So all of them graduated college. All of them, have good jobs. So, yeah.
That's good stuff. Let's say, now, how many kids you got?
Got 4.
4 kids. Yeah. Now, how did you spend time? So, 4, 2, 3. How did you spend time with your kids?
So for me, just like Kenny, I mean, I was on the grind. I was in the streets. Didn't have a manual. I was just trying to figure out life. Yeah. And so trying to do my thing and having kids and not really understanding that I have these human beings' lives in my hand. I wasn't about the relationship building until after, because I figured at this point in my life that I can't fix a yesterday, but I can fix a tomorrow. And so at that stage in their lives, I mean, I was there, I went to their events, but as far as giving them me, that wasn't the case. And so now that I'm making up for it now, I'm just being more relational and and being more open, and then letting them know that my mistakes don't have to be their mistakes.
I was just going to ask you that. I like that statement you made. I can't be there yesterday, but I can be there tomorrow. Did I say it right? A quarter right?
So I can't fix it yesterday.
Yeah,
but,
okay, that's what it is.
but I can,
And so you just told us how you fix. I said it again for any man out there who said that I got it messed up. So as dealing with men, you see men all the time that made huge mistakes. And not that I ain't asked you because you know the authority on it, but you made some mistakes, just like all of us in here have admitted to. Though you were out of their life at a certain point in time. So since you can't fix that yesterday, just say it again. How did you work on fixing that tomorrow?
I started being intentional with the relationship. I started looking at them as individuals, and understanding that they're not me, and understanding that just because I made a mistake, I don't have to stay there. Yeah. And so by having conversation, by being transparent, by letting him know about my past completely, there's nothing he doesn't know about my past, and let him know that you don't have to travel this road. Letting my daughters know that you don't have to try to travel this road, and my other son. I think just being open and transparent has created this energy, this synergy, this bond that we have. That I think everything that I went through was necessary for this moment. So, yeah.
So let me ask y'all this question. This question here just deals with the question, and I want y'all to think of it. And it is, as a parent, did you ever feel like you didn't know what you were doing? As a father, did you ever feel like, I don't know what I'm doing? Or maybe it was when your wife or your girlfriend told you that she was pregnant. You're like, what am I going to do? Or maybe you were mid-stride in fatherhood. You're like, what in the world am I doing? Vil, I'm going to start with you. Because your dad was in and out of your life. Mm-hmm. And so did you ever feel as if you didn't know what you were doing?
Actually, I have 5 brothers, and I never felt like I didn't know what I was doing, because it was either I was helping to raise the little one, or I was being told what to do. So I never got to the point to where if he wanted to do something, I couldn't help him. Like if Christmas came around, we always had big Christmases. Mm-hmm. Like decorating, I was always good with my hands, so we would decorate the house, and I just really didn't. Even if they got sick, we always knew the hospital was down the road. I don't know. I never felt inadequate as a parent. I always felt equipped, even though and I think it all derived from my father not knowing everything. And I tried to do everything because of what he didn't teach. A parent can't teach what they don't know, but they can try. Yeah. So I always tried. So therefore, I didn't do too much failing as far as loving my kids, because I loved them, and I wanted to be a better man.
That's good stuff. Go ahead.
So did you feel inadequate when I got you fired?
Yes.
From your job?
No.
How'd you get on fire from your job?
I was dating this girl at the time. I was real excited to go on this date and whatnot. And I worked all summer, and we had bought a BMW used.
You said we had bought a BMW?
Yeah. He let me make some money. Cutting yards, some real hard.
That's good stuff.
Manual labor, whatever. Yeah. So I was excited to be able to, take my date out in my new ride. And so my dad parked his work van. He always had some kind of work vehicle parked behind the driveway. I pulled out too far out. I had my music up. I wasn't paying attention. And I caved in the driver's side door.
Down.
And I still left and went on my dad. And then I called my dad. I said, Dad, man, you're not going to like what I'm about to tell you, man. But I hit your truck. And he was like, okay, where you at? And I said, I'm on my way to, he said, turn around. Dang. Messed up my night, but yeah, he ended up getting fired from that. Sorry about that.
Tell me one thing. Man, I'm gonna give you $100 if it's true. You married? Y'all married today?
Yes.
No, man, I can't get it.
Oh no. Hold on. I'm married to my wife, not to.
Okay. So
Heck no.
Yeah, so I think that night was, you know, a foreshadowing of things that it wasn't gonna work out. I think I was drinking for a long time after that, so it just
when you get him in your daddy's driver's side work truck and you get him fired, that's a sign.
I couldn't date, man, for a while. I was on lock for real.
So let me ask you, Ernest, have you ever felt like you didn't know what you were doing as a father?
Yeah, like me, I can't really recall a time where I consciously felt like I'm drowning or I don't know what to do. Like I guess I've always had that support system. I could always go to my parents or my dad or whatever, my mom, if I felt like I needed to. But I'm always trying to figure it out. Like when you just kind of have that love for your kids, man, it's like it's kind of hard to feel like that because you automatically gonna figure it out. Whatever's wrong, I just feel like you're gonna try to figure it out, whatever it is, and make it happen. I never felt like, man, I feel like giving up or don't know what to do. I just don't think I ever felt that way because that's my life, man.
What about you, Seth?
I don't ever. I'm like you, man. I didn't feel inadequate. It's just that it was a lot of things I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And so when you come from an environment and you're a product of the environment, you do the things that you see. So like my man here, it was like, the love for him, I would do anything for him.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just not knowing what to do in certain situations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Man, do me a favor. Share with these men right quick on your dad when you growing up. Y'all didn't hug.
No, we
but you got him to hug now. Just share that story right quick if you can.
Absolutely. So I'm a firm believer that you set feelings to the side and you put outcome first. So my dad wasn't a hugger.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very sensitive man. But I decided that I wanted something from him. So I decided that I was going to start the hugging and the kissing.
Yeah.
And of course that wasn't received well.
Yeah.
But eventually when I kept doing it and coming back, he gave in.
Dang.
And so that's when our relationship began to prosper and begin to bond. And now I can't leave the house without him giving me a hug and a kiss.
That's good stuff, man.
So and I love that. So
that's good stuff.
So for me, there's nothing that you can't do, man. If you focus on something.
Man, I wish I had time. We're gonna have to come back one day and talk about that because especially for African American men who were not huggers. Like my dad's dad, my grandfather never hugged my dad, but he always hugged the grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was from, my grandfather was born in 1912 on a plantation, and so in his will he talked about he saw his biological father twice, and the last time he gave him a gun, and so that was all the history that my grandfather had of his father. I don't know if that made him a hard man or I hear so much stories. Maybe we need some men a lot older than us to help explain that, the mentality of that. Kenny, you the last one. Let me ask you that question, the same question. Did you ever feel like you didn't know what you were doing as a father?
It's not that I didn't know what I was doing. It's I knew what I didn't like from my father. So I knew to do the total opposite for my son. And from that, it kind of rolled. So, I was at every game. I even coached. I ain't never been a football coach. I coached football. So I did homework. And I went to an elite school, and then college, but in elite school. So I really didn't have to study that. But I'll never forget this. One time, Miles comes home, and he had to be like in the 3rd or 4th grade, and this is when it's getting me. And he was building a PowerPoint. I said, let me show you how to do this. And he sit there for a minute. He said, but Dad, no, you're doing it wrong. I said, what you asked me for then? That's the only thing. The homework kind of would get me, and then as he got up, I couldn't help him no more. So that was the only, but raising him, it was just, I know what I didn't like or what I didn't get from my father. So I know what I wanted, and that's what I gave him.
That's good stuff.
Well, hopefully I like this, but like one of our pastimes that we do as adults is like we like to go fishing.
Okay.
And so should I tell them where we go? But anyway, I don't know how legal it was. We went fishing at this place in the country.
Yeah.
And man, we had a good time. I think it was around the season. It was getting really cold, and we didn't end up catching any fish, man. I just remember us just freezing our behind off. And what we ended up doing was we found like little scraps within the truck, sticks, and we found some aluminum foil. We had some matches, and we made ourselves a little campfire, and kept warm while we was fishing, and had some hot dogs and wrapped them in the foil, just let them cook it inside the campfire, man. We didn't catch any fish that day. But it felt good just to be with my dad.
That's good stuff, man.
And the life lesson from that is, you can have a plan to catch fish, and have all these accomplishments, but sometimes you just gotta learn how to enjoy the people that you with.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That's good stuff.
That's good stuff, man. Zach, give me a memorable story about you and your pops, man.
I wouldn't say it's too funny or too heartwarming, but it was when I got COVID, unfortunately. And
so this is recent.
Yeah, it was recently. It was after Thanksgiving. And I was like, man, I told my dad, I got me. COVID got me, man. And I didn't expect him to come all the way down to Houston to see me. And my roommate called me, was like, hey, man, your dad's on the way upstairs. I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? He comes up there. He spends, even though he could have been exposed to it, he came there. He spent like 3 days with me.
Wow.
He got me like healthy. He got me all the vitamins I needed and the medicine, the food. And I felt like 10 times better. And like when you're by yourself, because I was like, it was a 4-bed apartment, so I had my own room to myself. Yeah. And it did feel kind of like lonely when I was by myself in my room for 4 days straight, just like, what do I do? I'm bored. And he came up there, kept me company, and it was a good time.
Man,
man.
That's. God,
you didn't wear no mask, man?
No, he was.
Oh, you're a soldier, man.
Yeah, he was cool.
Your baby.
And he was getting COVID for you.
See, I didn't know that about you, man, and I was with you during COVID. You never said a word about it, man.
Said you came and gave everybody.
I don't know wherever you went, but there was a time he was gone.
That's something worth quarantining for.
That was worth it, bro.
But it just shows the love, man. That's some good stuff.
That's a good stuff.
Miles, give me a story about your dad, man.
Oh man, I don't know if I can top that story. But well, him talking about going fishing with his dad kind of reminded me of when the first time he took me like real fishing. I always wanted to go bass fishing, and so he took me out on the lake, and I was kicking his butt all day. I was catching fish all day. He didn't catch nothing, and I'm a little kid, so I don't know that he's purposefully not catching nothing. And so. He let me brag all day, all these years, and I look back and I finally pieced together that he let me catch more than him. And it was just cool to see that, he let his kid, like have that joy, like I beat my dad.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff, Kenny. Now, he does the same thing. He has an adopted son named Valentine. But then give me a story about your pops, man. Any story. You can't think of it, don't worry about it. We'll go to another question.
Well, there was this one time. Me and him. Was that mini golf? You and me, Samara, and AJ?
Yeah.
So we were in mini golf, right?
Yeah.
He was teaching me how to golf. I was trying to hit the thing, and I accidentally hit him in his knee. I let go. I let go, and he said,
"Don't say what."
Well, what did you do that for? And I was like, well, I don't know. That's it.
That's good stuff, man. So you were golfing and you let it go.
I didn't mean to let it go.
So I guess golf is not going to be in your future. All right, let me ask you all this. This is the last question for the fathers, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Did you want to be a good father, and why?
Oh, absolutely. I always felt like, we brought these kids into the world, and it's a tough world.
Yeah.
So once, the way they got here wasn't always planned.
Right.
Some of them, well, y'all know.
Yeah.
But it was my responsibility, I wanted to give them the best life that I could. I'm gonna talk till I'm blue in the face because I want to tell you every single thing I know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just want to be the best so they can be the best. I think every parent feels like that, but I don't know, man. I love my kids to death. So,
That's good
I'm
stuff.
sure like everybody here, but I just want them to be the best possible version. You don't ever want your kids to hurt.
Right.
No pain, none of that. You want it to be full of joy and success. So I try to give them every single thing I can.
Same question. Did you want to be a good father and why?
Man, I mean, I love being a father. It's just, I just wish there's some things that I could have changed. But if I had to choose over again, all four, I'd do it again.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'd do it again.
V, did you want to be a good father and why?
I didn't know. When my girlfriend told me she was pregnant, I said, oh, okay. I said, okay. I acted like I was excited and happy about it, so I went home, and no one was there but my grandmother. So I went to my grandmother, and I said, Mama, I think Lisa pregnant. She said, well, baby, she said, well, I wouldn't have sex with nobody I wouldn't marry. So I decided to ask her to marry me because I thought about it, and I said, well, I don't want somebody else to raise my son. See, because my mother dated, guys, and we had to whoop a bunch of guys, to get rid of them, and I didn't want my son to have to go through that.
Yeah.
So although I didn't at that time love my wife, I liked her enough to be with her. So I said, might as well just get married and see what it's like, and raise my son and love him and show him some of the stuff that my father didn't show me. And I say this, I put this caveat in that a father can't teach what he don't know. So I didn't blame my father for not teaching me because his father probably didn't teach him. So therefore, I gave my dad a pass. That kept me loving him in spite of. But I knew that I wanted to be a good dad because my father wasn't always there, but when he was there, he loved me. I know he did, and I know he did.
Man, I think that's one of the most helpful things I heard on today as far as how you came about you're going to be a father, and then the choice you had to make, and the rationale you went through to make that decision, and to be there in your son's life. Let me just ask you this. What was it like having a father in the home? Because he didn't have one of his own.
I'll tell you like this. Had a school project. Have to write, what your favorite superhero is, kind of like all about me. They, want to know with Superman or Spider-Man. I put my dad, to me, he had muscles and he was strong and, he was confident in himself. He loved sports and, he was just somebody that I looked up to. Yeah. And he was a real life hero.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Kenny, same question.
Restate the question one more time.
Yeah, did you want to be a good father and why?
I can't say I don't. I don't know how you answer. Do you want to be a good father? Like, do you want to live? I mean, it's something that hopefully everybody, has that. Why? Because I love them. I mean, that's it. I mean, I love my kids. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. So you do the best for something you love, and that's just that simple to me.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Last question. Go ahead.
I was just gonna jump. Amazingly enough, though, it's a lot of guys out there that don't, and they don't
even try.
That's always baffled me. Like having kids, I would always, and guys, the term deadbeat dad. I know some of them. So for me, it's like I can't fathom how you could not want your child.
I have to. I won't say fight against that, but there's some scenarios that I've dealt with because Miles' mom, not all my kids are about the same woman. And I've seen relationships people have that the relationship ain't against the child, it's just fighting the other party in that relationship. And I just don't want to say women because I don't want nobody, I'm sorry I said that.
No, keep it right there. Because this is for men. So how long if you don't mind? There's someone who's gonna be on here talking crap. Look, this ain't for you. This is for the dude that you pissing off right now.
I mean, and again, that relationship is so volatile between those two that person says, you know what, I'm just going to step back. Unfortunately, and it took me a while, the child learns. I got a son, Mark, and the relationship between me and his mother was so volatile that literally I had to step back for a while until he got old enough that I didn't really have to deal with her. I could deal with him. Mm-hmm. But because she was so, like put him up, I'm like, hey. But I mean, she was literally volatile.
She went to Booker T, didn't she?
No, she didn't. I think she went to Central. She went to Central Rogers. But I'm saying, so in that scenario, if I could have done things, from his court, I would have taken it a little different. But you still put yourself in the way, so you have to look at self-preservation. I talked to my mom about it, and my mom is like, her advice at that time was, when he grows up, he'll come to you. And so I followed, what my mother said. And it did. It came to fruition. But the thing is, I think once somebody, even if you, I don't want to say don't want a child, once you spend time with that kid, whether I can remember packing him in when he came out and holding him in one arm. Mm-hmm. Now, I had to reach up to hug him. But so once you hold that kid and you spend a little bit of time with that kid, it ain't nothing, that you won't do for that kid.
Amen.
But I think sometimes other influences come in and cause men to withdraw. They don't give an opportunity to build that bond, to build that relationship.
There's a question for the sons that we done. 2018, February 14, my dad went home to be with the Lord. So I don't have a dad. And so when Father's Day come around, it's rough on me. If I can rewind the hands of time, there's so much things I would do different. Hell, I'm getting choked up right now just thinking about it. So on this part, what I want to do is for the sons that's here with your fathers, just tell them one thing you admire about them, or tell them one thing that you love about them, and then we're gonna wrap it up right there. Because once when they dead, they gone, man. And so we're gonna end on a high note. And the high note is we got the fathers and sons. And I want to thank y'all again before we end on it. Thank y'all so much for coming, man. This has just really been great for me. I hope it's been great for those of you men who've been watching, and maybe you sons have been watching. So last but not least, let's start with you. Tell your dad, one thing you love about him, or one thing you admire about him. Maybe something you don't know.
I love that you're always there for me, and you're my backbone, and I count on you for everything.
Good stuff. Tell your pops one thing you love about him.
I love how when we joke around, you don't get stern enough to say, hey, don't do that, or hey, you're grounded for saying that. you just say, okay, let's try not to say that next time.
That's good stuff. Tell your pops something you love about him, man, or you admire about him.
I love and admire my dad because I've met my grandpa, and he's told me, that his dad didn't teach him a lot of the things that he teaches me every day. And when I was growing up, I thought he was too hard on me, but as I get older, I see that all the stuff that he's taught me, I use it in my everyday life. So I just love that he's always worked his tail off. Anything that I ever needed, I could come to him for it. So
that's good stuff.
Amen.
We close out with you, man.
Yeah, one thing I admire about my dad is, he dared to be there. He shared the story of how he and my mom started. They didn't start married. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and he had a decision that he could have made. He could have ran away from the anticipated hardship of having a son, but he dared to be there. Took a leap of faith, really, and dedicating his life to, my mom and doing his best to raise me, and now I want to be a great dad because of how great of experience that I have, having a great dad. I want my son to be able to have that same experience, to be able to have, a father that you can come to and ask questions, and a lot of my friends who didn't have a father, I saw that he was able to step in and give that same advice that's so needed because he dared to be there. So that's one thing I appreciate.
That's good stuff. Kenny, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
Happy Father's Day, Vincent. Happy Father's Day. Sid, happy Father's Day. Aramis, happy Father's Day. Marcus, happy Father's Day. Look, we always close out in prayer.
Baby, happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. We'll close out in prayer. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Marcus, happy Father's Day, man.
Happy Father's Day, Marcus.
Father, thank you for this day. Out of all the fathers in the world, you always have been, always will be the best father. You love us in spite of all of our mistakes, in spite of all of our failures, in spite of all of our idiosyncrasies, all of our ignorance. Over and over again, you show and prove your love to us.
Yes.
Even in the worst of times, even when we were far from you, you sent your son Jesus to die for us. I pray for fathers all over the world. Fathers who are struggling with fatherhood. Fathers who are struggling with having a relationship, as Kenny has stated, with the mother of their children. And fathers who just don't know what to do. Fathers who seem like they're getting it wrong more than they're getting it right. Father, I just pray for what you do as far as sending people and influences that way to help them, to encourage them, just to keep on trying. So, Father, on this Father's Day for men whose fathers are no longer here, we pray for them during this tough time. Lord, help us to be better today than we were yesterday. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Peace. Have a good one. Man, thank y'all so much, man. This was a great.
Appreciate the invite.
Man, this is good, man.